Up to $1.1 billion, not for a war, not for an invasion, but for a mission that lasted only a few hours. That was the estimated cost of Operation Absolute Resolve, an operation designed to capture Maduro, and that number didn't appear overnight. It grew minute by minute, asset by asset, decision by decision. Every sound you didn't hear, every explosion that never happened, every moment that looked calm on the surface, all of it was costing money. A lot of money. At the center of this operation was a floating city of steel, the USS Gerald R, the most advanced aircraft carrier ever built, nuclear-powered, packed with radar systems, command centers, and a full combat-ready air wing. Just keeping that carrier at sea, fully operational, costs millions per day, roughly $300,000 every hour, simply to maintain readiness. No combat yet, no helicopters launched, just control, and control is never cheap. Above the carrier, the airspace was already alive. F-22 Raptors were flying continuous. Combat air patrols, these are not ordinary jets. They are stealth platforms built for dominance, and every hour one stays in the air costs close to $50,000 when fuel, maintenance, and logistics are included. One jet, 1 hour, multiply that by multiple aircraft, flying multiple hours, and the numbers start climbing fast. Alongside them, F-35 Lightnings moved quietly through the sky. Their job wasn't to fight, it was to see everything, tracking movements, collecting data, feeding real-time intelligence back to command centers. Every second they stayed airborne added to the cost, long before the mission officially began. Before a single helicopter lifted off, millions had already been spent, and the clock was still ticking. Then came the helicopters. Heavy lift Chinooks rose into the air carrying the main insertion teams. These machines are built for reliability and power, but each one costs around $20,000 per flight hour to operate, and they never fly alone. Armed escort helicopters moved with them, loaded with Hellfire missiles, each missile costing roughly $120,000. Every missile on those pylons wasn't just a weapon, it was a financial decision. As the helicopters moved closer to Caracas, the operation entered its most dangerous phase: low altitude, high speed, absolute precision. Fighters remained overhead. Surveillance platforms watched every street, every movement. Naval command centers tracked everything in real time. Air, sea, and intelligence assets were working together as one system. At this point, analysts estimate the When the teams reached the ground, something important happened. The costs didn't slow down. In fact, they continued, because modern operations aren't expensive when bullets fly. They're expensive when nothing happens. Aircraft stayed airborne. Even silence had a price tag. This is the paradox of modern power. The cleaner it looks, the more expensive it usually is. By the time the objective was secured with Maduro and his wife now in custody, the majority of the cost had already been locked in. Weeks of preparation, thousands of flight hours, assets positioned across air and sea, all synchronized to work in a narrow time window. Then came extraction. Time suddenly became the most valuable resource of all. Every extra minute increased risk, exposure, every delay increased cost. The Chinooks lifted off again, engines hot, crews focused on one thing: getting out clean. Fighters stayed overhead, fuel burned, hours logged, maintenance costs waiting on the other end. At roughly $20,000 per hour per helicopter, the clock was unforgiving. But speed saves money. The faster the extraction, the fewer aircraft stay airborne, the fewer systems remain active, and the lower the final cost. As the helicopters pulled away, the air cover remained until the last possible moment. Even after the mission's main objective was complete, the operation continued to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars until every aircraft was safely on its way back. By around 3 in the morning, the most intense phase was over. Aircraft returned. 2 base ships adjusted course, systems slowly powered down. On the surface, it looked like a short mission. Quiet, precise, almost simple. But behind that silence was a financial engine that never stopped running. This is how a mission lasting only a few hours reaches a total cost of up to $1.1 billion. Not because of waste, not because of chaos, but because control. Speed and precision are expensive. Carriers that cost hundreds of thousands per hour, jets that burn tens of thousands per hour, missiles that cost 6 figures each, and weeks of preparation before the first move was ever made. When you break it down piece by piece, the number stops sounding shocking, it becomes logical. So the real question isn't how the mission cost so much, the real question is this: was $1.1 billion the price of success or simply the cost of modern power projection? History will decide.